Hello and good evening students, and welcome back to Global Online Platform. This is Chandni Swarnikar, and as you all know, if you are watching my videos, you know that we are covering previous year questions. We have covered 60 questions from 2023 paper, Booklet A. So we are going to complete that today, okay? You can get my lectures at 9 p.m. on a daily basis, but before diving into the video, let me share that there is a great opportunity to prepare smartly for the April 2024 Maharashtra State. Global Online is offering a comprehensive English literature course. You'll have access to video lectures that explain concepts using short and effective methods. The course also provides downloadable PDF notes for your convenience. Additionally, you'll get mock tests that stimulate real exam conditions, boosting your final preparation. To learn more, reach out to the provided content, basically contact number. Now, if you want to watch the free videos, okay, first download the Global Online app. Once you are in, head to the store section. There you find details of all the courses. Use the search bar to directly type in the course name and you'll see an overview along with fees for the duration. Okay, now click on the content section and you'll find unit wise folders. In each unit, basically you'll get theory lectures, evaluation, notes, mock tests and MCQs. No need for extra reading. Okay, now if you decide to join the paid course, you'll also be added to a WhatsApp group. In that group you will receive PDFs for each session along with the videos link. Okay, it's a great way to stay connected and get additional resources, and happy learning. Now let's start with our main work. So here the question number 61. Which poem of Tennyson is critiqued as anti-feminist? You need to answer which poem of Tennyson is critiqued as anti-feminist, okay, who was being criticized as anti-feminist work. So the options are The Princess, Maud, In Memoriam and Idylls of the King. From this type of question, you need to be very smart, because if the person or the examiner is asking you about a particular work, so do remember that if the question has mentioned about a particular writer and the options are related with that writer, you need to remember all of that. Okay, so the correct answer here is The Princess. It was basically frequently attacked as an anti-feminist poem. Now moving on to question number 62. What term does Keats use for the Grecian urn? What term does Keats use for the Grecian urn? How simple and very easy question, but still people can miss it out, right? So that kind of question also the examiner can ask. So the options are doctor, sociologist, artist or historian. So basically the correct answer is historian, and it was first anonymously published in Annals of the Fine Arts, okay, Annals of the Fine Arts in like 1819, and it actually includes several poems like Ode on Indolence, Melancholy, you can write it here, Nightingale you can write, Psyche you can write, like Ode on Indolence, Ode on Melancholy, Ode to a Nightingale and Ode to a Psyche. Okay, moving on to question number 63. Which poem open with the line, "For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me laugh"? It's a very famous poem, and even in your graduation syllabus or master syllabus, you must read it. You must have read it. Okay, so here the options are A Valediction, Colin, Forbidding Mourning, okay, second The Canonization, third Ecstasy, fourth Twickenham, basically Garden. Okay, so the correct answer here is The Canonization. It's a work by John Donne. Okay, it was published in 1633. Okay, it's a Petrarchan, I hope you know, Petrarchan sonnet. It was, okay. Moving on to question number 64. In which play does the plot deal with a city, goldsmiths, two apprentices and his two daughters, the younger sweet and modest and the elder foolish and worldly? So there must be a play who actually is having a plot that actually deals with the two apprentices and his 2 daughters. Okay, so you need to answer that, whether it's Eastward Ho or Malcontent or the 4 apprentices, this is apprentices basically of London, or the 4th one is a trick to catch the old one. A trick to catch the old one. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, now the correct answer is Eastward Ho, where you can see that Frank is one daughter and the other one is Gertrude. Okay, and it's a stage play, Jacobean era, and it was written by 3 writers. First is Ben Jonson, then George Chapman and John Marston. Okay, these 3. Moving on to question number 65. Samuel Johnson called John Donne a metaphysical poet in. Basically, Samuel Johnson called John Donne a metaphysical poet in a particular work, but there is a particular chapter in which he actually talked about it. Okay, so that you need to answer. Now he coined in his book Lives of the most eminent poems. Most eminent, sorry, absent. I would have written absent. Eminent English poets. Okay, this is the whole title, the book's title. But the chapter was Life of Cole, Abraham Cole. The Life of Gray, no. Life of Pope, no. Life of Dryden, of course not. Moving on to question number 66. Identify the printer credited for issuing the 2 prints, Beer Street and Gin Lane. Okay, Beer Street and Gin Lane. Now, it was actually issued in 1751 by an English artist, of course, that is William Hogarth. Who? William Hogarth. He was basically supporting an act. Okay, and he was supporting that it should be an act, okay, that Gin Act. So do remember the name of this English artist. Moving on to question number 67. Who was responsible for Britain's first organized detective police force? The Bow Street Runners. Okay, Bow Street Runners. So, Bow Street Runners, and you need to see, it was founded in like 1749. Okay, and not only a single writer was associated with it, but his brother was also one of them. Whether it's Fielding, Smollett, Richardson or Stun. So it was Henry Fielding and his brother Sir John Fielding. Okay, Sir John Fielding. Moving on. The Massacre of Paris is authored by. The Massacre of Paris is authored by. Whether it's Thomas Nash, I hope you do know that. Robert Greene, Christopher Marlowe or David Lodge. Christopher Marlowe. Okay. And there was another writer, Nathaniel Lee was also associated with it. Moving on to question number 69. A view of the present state of Ireland is written by. A view of the present state of Ireland is written by. Options are Sir Philip Sidney, Robert Greene, Edmund Spencer, Thomas Dekker. So it's basically a pamphlet. Okay. The year is 1596, and it was written by Edmund Spencer. Okay, the correct answer is Edmund Spencer. Moving on to question number 70. The journal The Tatler was founded by. I have already discussed this particular question in our previous lecture. So go and watch it. Now, Richard Steele, Samuel Johnson, Alexander Pope or John Dryden. It was basically founded in 1709, okay, and the pen name, basically the pen name the writer used was Isaac Bickerstaff. The writer is Richard Steele. Okay, the correct answer is A. Moving on to question number 71. Who said, no poet, no artist of any art has his complete meaning alone? No poet, no artist of any art has his complete meaning alone. Who said this line? T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, in his very famous literary criticism work, Tradition and Individual Talent, he wrote that or said it. Okay, tradition and the individual talent. It was published in 1999. Okay, 1919. Sorry. And it was first published in the eGuest. I hope you do know that. What is eGuest? Okay, so the first one is the correct option. Moving on to question number 72. Who among the following is not a Caribbean writer? See here, from the end. B.S. Naipaul is of course a Caribbean writer because he was a Trinidadian born British writer. So Trinidadian basically associated with Caribbean island. Derek Walcott is also associated, he is the main figure. Okay, then Marlon James, Jamaica writer. So Jamaica is also associated with Caribbean island. So of course these three writers are associated with Caribbean, but the only option here is Pablo Neruda, is basically Chilean poet. Chilean poet is a city. Chilean is a city, okay, a long and narrow country basically. So this is the correct option, the first one. Moving on to question number 73. In which poem do the following lines occur? Fail I alone in words and deeds, why all men strive and who succeeds? Okay, so the options are, the first option is My Last Duchess. Okay, read the following lines carefully so that you can answer the question. So the first option is My Last Duchess, The Last Ride Together, and I hope you know the writers of these works. Robert Browning, very famous writer from Victorian age. Okay, so the second option is The Last Ride Together. Third, In Memoriam. Of course, In Memoriam is written by somebody else. Ulysses was also written by somebody else. Okay, Alfred Tennyson. So the correct answer is The Last Ride Together, where the writer has said this. Okay, fail I alone in words and deeds, why all men strive and who succeeds. The second one is the correct option. Moving on to question number 74. Dylan Thomas under Milkwood was originally a. So Dylan Thomas basically wrote a particular work under Milkwood, and the question is asking that it was originally a, whether it's a street play, restoration play, Victorian play or radio play. Have you ever noticed that? It's a radio play, the fourth one. Moving on to question number 75. What figure of speech has been used by Dryden to make fun of Shadwell in the following lines? So you can read the lines here. Shadwell, basically SH stands for Shadwell. The writer has not written it, but still you need to understand that. Alone my perfect image bears, mature in dullness from his tender years. Shadwell, alone of all my sons is he who stands confirmed in full stupidity. So you need to find out the figure of speech, right? Transferred epithet basically stands for when you are transferring, like you need to add that to an adjective, but you are adding to some other words like a noun. Okay, it is you can say that when an adjective usually describing one thing is shifted to another thing in a sentence. Okay, so you can see here that dullness stands for not a mere word. It's basically standing for said will. Okay, instead of using said will, the writer has used dullness here. So you can see the transferred epithet. So this can be the correct answer, but let's cover the other options. Synecdoche. What is synecdoche? See, synecdoche is a figure of speech where a part of something is used to represent the whole. Okay, a part of something. Just imagine that I am talking about my hair, but while talking about my hair, somebody is actually describing me, Chandni. Okay, so that is synecdoche. The other is juxtaposition. It's like placing two contrasting or related elements together. Okay, and of course we cannot see such kind of thing here. And metonymy is still related to that, like one word or phrase is substituted with another that is closely related or associated with it. Okay, so the only correct answer is, of course, the only correct answer you need to find the first one, transferred epithet. Okay, moving on to question number 76. Who is the author of the sense of an ending? Who is the author of the sense of an ending? Whether it's Julian Barnes, Ian MC1, Harold Fry. I hope you must have heard about this writer, no? John Niven. So it's a 11th novel of Barnes, basically Julian Barnes, okay? And it was a 2011 work. So the correct answer is Julian Barnes. Moving on to question number 77. A fricative sound is produced with. So I have already discussed this, a fricative sound. What is fricative sound and how it is related to what? Okay. So the options are a structure of open approximation, stricture, that is stricture, a flap, or the third, nasal passage on, or the fourth one, stricture of close approximation. I think there is something wrong. No, everything is, I guess everything is fine. Okay. So I have already discussed that, so you can watch the earlier videos here. Okay. So the third one is the correct answer because a fricative sound is associated with nasal, nose. Moving on to question number 78. Falstaff is a character in William Shakespeare's play. So the question is asking in which play Falstaff is a character. Okay. So the options are The Merry Wives of Windsor, Twelfth Night, As You Like It, or The Winter's Tale. So it's very easy. The Merry Wives of Windsor. It's a comedy and it was first published in 1602. Moving on, 79. Which novel opens with the following line? All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Of course, because all happy families are alike. But each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way because we have so many things to be too unhappy about, right? So, so there's a quote. Actually, a novel opens with these following lines. So you need to find out the novel. Here the options are Pride and Prejudice, Anna Karenina, Wuthering Heights, or Mayor of Casterbridge. So the correct answer here is Anna Karenina. Okay. Moving on to question number 80. Following was one of the pioneering theorists of cultural studies in Britain. Whether it's I.A. Richards, Walter Pater, Raymond Williams, or C.S. Lewis. Of course, it is. The question is basically asking about cultural studies. The first or pioneering theorist, of course, the Raymond Williams would be the answer. Question number 81. An annual anthology called V.S. was published by. Okay, so it's an annual anthology and basically it came out annually between 1916 to 1921. Okay, a total of 6 cycles. Now, Edith Sitwell were actually associated with it, Osbert Sitwell or Sacheverell Sitwell. So this is the correct option. You do not need to go further with this question. Okay. So do understand anthologies, journals are very important periodicals. They can ask you questions on this. Okay. things. Moving on to question number 82. The Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam was rendered into English poetry by. The Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam was rendered into English poetry by. William Cowper, Matthew Arnold, Stephen Spender, or Edward Fitzgerald. Edward Fitzgerald is the correct option. Moving on. I think you should be curious about this question. Who among the first to translate the Mahabharata into English? Mahabharat into English. K.M. Ganguly, Ramnath Kak, Dilip Chitre, or Charles Wilkins. So Charles Wilkins was the first person who translated Mahabharata into English. Okay, so do understand and do remember this. Moving on to question number 84. An epic poem in Old English verse is. An epic poem in Old English verse is. Of course, Beowulf. Moving on. The belief that a second language can be taught in the same way as a learner's first language by using only the target language forms the basis for the. So the options are, the question is basically asking that the belief that it holds a second language can be taught in the same way as the learner's first language by using only the target language. Okay. So whether it's audiolingual method or functional method or direct or natural method, of course, or communicative method. So of course it's a direct or natural method that actually emphasizes and believes in it. Okay. So the third one is the correct option. Moving on to question number 86. The panopticism, according to Foucault, was also a laboratory. It cannot be used. So let me tell you, he actually used, it could be used. Okay, so the whole line is, it cannot be, is not here, there. Okay, it could be used. So as a machine to carry out experiments, to alter behavior or to correct individuals. These are there. Okay, so the question is asking basically cannot be used. So of course, the only option we can think of is the ameliorate the condition of the individual. Ameliorate basically stands for changing someone's behavior. Okay, moving on to question number 87. Which literary critic compares the poet's mind to a catalytic agent? And I hope you know this. This is very easy question. In tradition and individual talent, the writer used it and explained that. Okay, so the person of course is T.S. Eliot. We do not need to think much. Moving on to question number 88. Who among the following is not a new critic? New critic basically stands for new criticism. Okay, John Crow Ranson, of course, he was there. Cleaneth Brooke, of course. Ellen Tate, of course. But the only writer, only critic, not a friar, cannot be included in this. So the D is the correct answer. Moving on to question number 89. Who among the following belongs to the Bloomsbury group? Who among the following belongs to the Bloomsbury group? Options are, first you need to understand there is a group, Bloomsbury group. Okay, the writers are Virginia Woolf, John Wayne, basically John Maynard, not Wayne, okay, Maynard. Then E.M. Foster was there, Lytton Strachey was there. But the only writer here, the only member is Virginia Woolf. These are not the members of this Bloomsbury group. So D would be the correct answer. Moving on to 90, question number 90. The title of a book is, see, whether it's placed in inverted commas, of course it plays in inverted commas, but only when a book's title is a part of a larger title, okay, then only. So we'll not include it. Underlined in printing, not every time. Italicized in printing, of course, because see, in books or plays, films, periodicals, databases and websites, title is italicized, okay, Or place in single inverted commas? Of course not. So the correct answer is C. Moving on to question number 91. In the title, which words begin with capital letters? In the title, which words begin with the capital letters? See, I'll tell you. With nouns, pronouns, verbs. Nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, and subordinating conjunction. We actually capitalize. But with coordinating conjunction, we do not do it until. With coordinative conjunction and preposition, we do not do it until the word, basically, conjunction or preposition, contains 3 letters or less. Okay, so we will not capitalize it. Okay, so the correct answer here is conjunction. Okay, moving on to the last question. Writers achieve the goals of documentation by providing. Writers achieve the goals of documentation by providing information in a chaotic manner, insufficient information, information in a comprehensible manner, or information in a complex manner. Chaotic manner? Of course not. Insufficient? Of course not. Documentation, you need to be sufficient with the information, right? Information in a comprehensible manner? Of course. In a complex manner? No, it's a common sense. Now, we have done today's lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much and all the very best.